soon as Tiffany and Bruce are done chatting, like they're in high school, we're going to get started.
29,
It's important stuff.
Okay, so as we get rolling, a couple things. You'll see on your desk in front of you, there's a magazine with 2 ridiculous people on it. I don't know who we put those out. Yeah. But you can have copies of those. One thing I want to introduce, or one thing I want to talk about before we get started, is we have one new face in the crowd that I wanted to point out, and she's sitting right there. Everybody please welcome Jessie Cole, who, which is ridiculous because we have a Jessica Cole spelled differently on the Pinnacle team. So with Agent Services, Jessie Cole is not with us, so you guys will be talking to her quite a bit. Not to be confused with Jessica Cole, so we have to make sure that happens. Ridiculous, I know. So today we're going to get started. We've got a big day for those that are staying with us for the do-it-yourself video boot camp. Part of that system is the Attracktor system, which you guys are going to be super excited that we're onboarding yet another system. You guys love that. Tiffany, you can kick me later because I know how much you love when I do this.
But this is supposed to be a secret and you blew it.
I know, I totally did. So Attracktor basically is, in my opinion, one of the better responses that we're having to what's happening in the marketplace. As you probably noticed, and we've been talking about it, lead generation has just overtaken, it's overtaken the market. You guys are losing more and more of your database of your past clients. They're getting picked up by people very early on that are investing in high-tech lead generation systems and platforms. So it's never been more important, in my opinion, to really button down your sphere of influence like tight. And to do that, to have a platform, some systems and automation, and a guide to say this is how you're going to do it and this is the way you should be doing it and when. That's what the Attracktor platform is built for, to help really solidify your relationships with people you already have. Our retention rate in this industry sucks at that, by the way. Historically, we're lucky if we retain 12% of the people. Of the 77 plus that say that I would use you again, we're lucky if we retain 12% of that. Why is it them? No, it's us. We suck at it. But now with all these systems that are starting to develop in lead gen, we're finally starting to see a system develop that's going to help you with your own spirit. So with that, I will step aside and let Mike Cuevas, the founder of Attracktor, come up and show you the platform. And I will step aside and just drift into the background.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, buddy. You bet.
Does anyone want to sit up here? Or is it?
That's cursed. They won't touch it. I don't know why.
Excited to be here, you guys. My name is Mike Cuevas. Some of you guys might have been on my blog. I have a podcast, Real Estate Marketing Dude. Everything we talk about is about attracting versus chasing business. How many of you guys feel like the lead generation, how many of you guys like autoresponders or lead generation, online marketing and that? I show of hands, how many of you guys actually like that stuff?
Not all at once, everybody.
All right. Well, this isn't any of that. This is literally attracting business. We're going to go through a couple different things today. But my thing's not working. Give me just a sec.
Probably have to be facing that.
There you go.
How many people we have at home, Jess?
There are 11.
Okay, 11 at home. So we are recording this as well.
Yes, let me share the screen real fast.
Just by while we're doing this, how many of you guys are like referral based? Just by like show of hands, how many of you guys get 50+% referrals? 60?
More. Yeah.
70?
90.
90?
Yeah.
Good.
70.
Who did one deal this year and it was referrals to 100%?
Kevin did. There we go.
I think this isn't what's working.
Do I just put that
Hold on, it's probably just because you can't. Here's the sensor.
That should connect.
Jess, you want to work the thing for me
Yeah.
over there?
It's a lot of
Next
slides.
one?
You can switch out. Try mine.
Yeah.
Or just unplug in.
We're all
But if you go to the next slide, I'm just going to point and then you go to the slide. So here's what we're going to cover today. We have a long day. So what we're going to cover. This is really attracting business. A lot of this is personal branding. How do you guys really know what building a personal brand's about? Do you guys realize you all have one? It's the most important thing with this entire process. It's about staying on top of mind without always having to talk about real estate. A lot of times we overcomplicate what we send to our database because we don't want to feel cheesy. We don't want to feel overburdening. We don't want to feel salesy. And we're going to talk about exactly what to send to your database. When we're marketing our networks and our relationships in life, the goal is not lead generation. The goal is don't forget I exist. We're fighting for the attention of our audience. Our audience are the collection of relationships that all of you guys already have. Jess, you could just go highlight all these points, if you don't mind.
Yep, just toggling with our Zoom stuff too. So we can see what you're doing. Is there another?
Keep on going. Do you guys have the flat fee services here? The 100% are the flat fee brokerages, like Purple Bricks, are they in the market yet?
We have Redfin, but they're not, that's the closest we got.
They're coming. There's no doubt they're coming. Like what Mike said is absolutely true. You got to start swimming upstream because there's so many different points of entry for a lead to be converted by other agents. There's also less expensive options. They're doing the exact same thing. And if you guys were at Lab Coat Agents a couple weeks ago, it's pretty confident to say they're going to maintain about a 30% market share. Now, the fact that they're not here, it doesn't surprise me because everything comes to the Midwest last. We were still tight rolling our jeans with Zika and Barichis by the time the last fad happened. That's how it always happened, even in the crash in 2007, 8, and 9. The Midwest got hit last. California was faltering 2 years before we started doing a lot of short sales in Chicago.
There's this cool show, 90210, starting next.
Yeah. You could keep on going. But what we're really talking about is marketing a brand. How do you become everywhere? How do you really establish name brand recognition? So what would you guys agree is the biggest challenge in the business? You think the actual job of real estate is tough? I mean, it's like getting in the car and going to see cool houses, cool kitchens, cool views. Is that really the hard job, or is it really just getting the business?
The hard job's over once you're there.
Absolutely. So what the problem is that 87% of newly licensed agents go ahead and fail. But when we're starting a business, I want to just go back to the basics because that's really all we're doing. We're just simplifying and going back to the basics with marketing and or whatnot. So if I'm going to start any single business, let's pretend I'm Mexican, so I always talk about taco stands. So I just recently moved to San Diego. If I was going to move to San Diego and start a taco stand, the very first thing I would do is research in the neighborhood who buys tacos so I could create a marketing plan around who buys tacos, right? I wouldn't simply just guess on who buys the tacos. Let's go target old people. It's probably going to be young people like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's the same thing with real estate. It's like we're looking at our business, but we don't actually literally focus on where it actually comes from. So these are the actual stats. This comes from NAR, not from me. 51% of buyers last year closed with the agent they were referred to. Okay, so back to my taco stand restaurant is if I don't have a plan to make my business referable, I'm already setting myself up for failure. If 51% of business is coming from referral, what's the number one thing that we should be doing as agents? Create a referral marketing system, right? Pretty straightforward. Now 12% came from repeat clients. Add those two numbers up, that's 63% of business. There's 1% and 2% comes from a relocation company. The other one comes from a realtor to realtor referral. Add those up, 66% of closed business comes from people that refer to you or people that have already used you in the past. That's a big percentage of business. Do you guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. So question one is, are you guys spending 66% of your time, your energy, your budget, your mind, just your thoughts on how you're going to run your business on where business comes from, or are you chasing leads?
Can I interject one thing?
Please.
That number keeps going down year after year. The referability, the people that were referred, and the reason why, because agents are getting better at picking your pocket of your referral sources. That's again why I'm super excited to bring this platform in to help you put your sphere of influence on lockdown so other people can't do this.
Now here's what's really interesting is that 10% of buyers who close found their agent from the sign. That's why Mike's always Mr. Tech marketing guy here. That's why his call action on signage, because sign call leads are the most qualified lead you're going to get. They're actually in front of the house saying, I want to see this. Of course they're qualified. It's much more qualified than a Facebook lead. 4% comes from open houses. Folks, you add these up, it's 80% of all business comes from someone they personally met, used in the past, or have been referred to. Those are the numbers. So the plan focuses around that. Attracktor plays in that space. It's not a cold lead generation platform. It's a don't forget I freaking exist to refer your friends, your family, and of course your repeat business. So that's what we're going to be talking about the rest of today. Now, the reason why I think this stat is true is because let's look at the taco restaurant example. If I started a brand new taco restaurant, by me going out and targeting my message in front of the wrong audience, I'm setting myself up for failure. If the majority of our business comes from the people we already know, it's right in front of us. And this isn't hard. This is literally very, very simple. And it's really common sense when we think about it. But quite often we overthink it. I believe the reason why that number is true is because people are taught to chase leads before they're taught to nurture existing and established relationships. And the relationships are the ones that actually refer us business.
Jess, we order tacos, so I'm kind of hungry.
I talk about tacos a lot. So what happens with most agents? They come out, and Jess, you can sort of zip through these. I'll go. So they come out, they want to do Facebook ads, but no one really taught them how to retarget around or put the pixel on their website, or they cold call and they read the same scripts. Well, in San Diego, for example, I'm getting a lot of agents that are trying to file expireds and canceleds, but so are 50 other agents. So they're the 49th person on the call list, and it's just not working for them. They're burning themselves out. We'll do a website. No one tells us how to do traffic to it. We'll talk about that later on today. Or we'll go after the people that hate us the most, for sale by owners with the wrong value proposition, right? Or we get the email autoresponders that pop up and we drip on people. How many people are on the receiving end of a email autoresponder that told them to turn back the clock a few months ago? What do you think about when you receive that type of email?
I think I sent out the same one.
That's funny. People don't want crap stuff. They want authenticity. They want to be spoken to. They don't want to just be on the receiving end of a check mark that we had to accomplish that day. So where we're going to get at is a lot of this money is in your database and or network. All right. And that's what we're going to focus the entire day on today as well. So now, why this works is you got to understand the numbers. It really is a math equation. I'm a stat nerd, so I always research all these numbers. And Melissa Data last year reported that was 14.19% of the U.S. population moved. Since I've been tracking these for about 10 to 15, or 5 years, give or take, it's 10 to 15%. That number has always stayed right on. You agree?
Yep.
So do the math. If you have 100 people that really know what you do, because we know that 70% of the business is going to be done by agents they know, like, and trust, then that 100 people, roughly 10 to 15 of them are moving. That's a very safe assumption to make. If you have 200 people who know what you're doing, then 30 of them, 20 to 30 of them might maybe moving that year. But that's really the simplicity behind the stats. Now, when we're setting up a referral marketing plan, the goal is not to generate direct business. That's where most agents fail, I believe, at first. The goal is to generate referral business. Referral business is where 51% of business comes from. If we so happen to get their direct business in the meanwhile, then so be it. That's the gravy on top. But that mindset is extremely important when you're actually marketing, because your messaging, when you're marketing for referrals, your messaging is a lot different than if you're marketing for direct business. Does that make sense? It's extremely important to understand that. And as we get into the creative side, we start talking about Facebook and how to share your story and all that. It's a lot of storytelling is what it comes down to.
So Mike, one of the things too about that stat of how many people are moving, one stat that I always found interesting too is every person in your database knows at least 3 people that are moving.
Yeah,
this year.
It's a
That's
fact.
huge.
Think about it. Like when people, 4th of July, we just had the holiday. When people are moving, they talk about it. I just moved across country to San Diego from Chicago, and I found myself in the same shoes as our clients. And I was on Zillow. I was doing all the stuff that I knew people did, all the research and that I was doing as an actual client, but I forgot what that felt like, right? So it's really, 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 really simple. Now, the whole goal here is name brand recognition. We'll do a test in a little bit, but you ever notice when you go on Facebook and someone will be like, do you have a plumber? And then they'll get 5 freaking recommendations in the middle of the day. First question is like, why the hell do all these people have their plumber's cell phone number in their back pocket in the middle of their work day? You ever notice that? Mm-hmm. 2, how the hell does this many people have their plumber's number in their phone? It's because people will refer business. We're wired to do so. So think about how many people really establish your name with real estate when real estate is brought up. See where I'm going? So what we're talking about is building the personal brand is the goal is top of mind brand awareness. So they associate your brand with real estate. And that's really all we're talking about. So your reputation is what other people think of you, but your story is really how you remember you. We're gonna get really creative. I was talking with this gentleman here earlier about the videos he's doing. When we come up with a video strategy, the one that works is the one that's most authentic. And that's what we're gonna get into, because it all revolves around what's the why behind your business. So how many of you guys actually see yourselves as a brand? Good. And for those who don't, what are the holdups? Ma'am? Why don't you see yourself as a brand? You can go to the next. Jeff.
Sure. This is early for me.
It feels weird, doesn't it, to think of yourself in the third person or to think of that? My brand is
talking about himself in the third person.
My brand is the real estate marketing dude, but Mike Cuevas and the real estate marketing dude sleep in 2 different beds at night. All right, you cannot market the brand. It's easier to tell stories when you start becoming the spokesperson for the brand that you create, whether it's your name or not. And that little mindset is the difference, I believe, between storytelling and attracting versus chasing, because it's a lot easier to market your brand when you're just being you, in other words. So the brand is extremely important. Companies like this, 100% models, are rising up throughout the country because no one cares what brokerage the agent works for. 96% of consumers said, I don't really give a crap. I care about, it's only 4% of people picked the brokerage. And I guarantee you that's in the super duper luxury markets in like New York City and on the coast. So it's extremely important to realize that you are the brand. Marketing your broker doesn't really do you any good. Make sense? Mm-hmm. People do business with agents they know, like, and trust, but it's only when they actually are remembered. The brand is what keeps you top of mind, brand awareness. All right, there's so many referral opportunities that go throughout. Now, the type of marketing we're going to talk about today is establish a brand primarily for your own network and or database, but multi-purposing what that brand is to relate to people that you would have liked anyways. All right, so let me give you an example. Later on, we're going to get into in-depth on branding, but I'm gonna give you the dog example from the guy from Denver. So we had a guy that we rebranded in Denver. After we did a deep dive with him, we realized that he gives 10% of his commissions to the dog rescue. On the weekends, he volunteers all his time at the dog rescue. And when he's not doing that, he's hanging out with his dog. This guy no longer sells houses, he sells dogs' backyards. Okay, it's not just sold, it's another dog's life saved. He's going to get along with dog people because that's who he is, and his database already knows him as dog people. But because he built his brand around serving dogs, he stands out from the rest. Does that make sense? So that's how creative we can be with it, but each and every single one of you have your own unique characteristics, your own interests. God only made one of you guys. It's just a matter of bringing that out to the forefront and just following it, because how many of you guys have realized the last 10 clients you closed that they became either your wine drinking friends or your beer drinking buddies? How many of you realize that?
Well, not those 2 categories.
Nobody? You guys are working with people you hate? We attract like people. It's not by coincidence. We attract like people. All we're doing is putting you in the position to be in front of the people you actually would get along with anyway. You just haven't met them. But primarily when we're referral marketing, we're doing it for our database. But it's extremely important to be true to yourself. Another couple examples on that is Chicago real estate dude. About 6-7 years ago, I put a cartoon on my branding, and everyone's like, you're fucking crazy. You're an idiot. You're so unprofessional. I said, okay, great. That stupid little cartoon generated more leads than anybody because it was memorable and because it was approachable. Now, don't get me wrong. I turned off the 46 and above year audience, but I wasn't going to attract them anyways. Attorneys, doctors, they don't like the dude. They don't think that's cool. But other dudes love the dude. They think it's really cool, and they come folding in. And that's attracting versus chasing business. So remember that. It's extremely important to position your brand in a way that is authentic to yourself and that people actually are attracted to. Extremely powerful. Let me give you an example. This is a branding study. So I moved out to San Diego. Who's been to San Diego? It's an awesome city, tons of breweries. And I'm a big beer guy. I love beer. So when I get there, there's all these different beers. And the branding on the beer bottles, like most beers, taste, some of them more or less, they taste around the same. I drink lagers. So what bottles do you think I bought first when I started exploring all these craft brews?
One with the best label.
Yeah. I started deciding by the packaging what I was more attracted to. It was like going on a surf or whatever. One was like, I'll tell you another story later, but let's switch this. Now, let's look at Kellogg's. Each of these cereals are equally as bad for our kids. They all have the same amount of sugar in them. But my daughter likes Tony the Tiger. She follows Tony the Tiger. She doesn't give a crap about Toucan Sam, but Tony the Tiger, she wants to follow him. The branding, the advertisers at General Mills or whatever the hell the company is, understands, Kellogg's or whatever the hell you call it, understands that they have to create the brand to sell their product. Does that make sense? So your brand is no different. You're naturally going to create people or attract people that you're going to attract anyways. And it's by no way is it a coincidence. You don't attract when you start being someone you're not. All right, you can go ahead, Jess. So let's do an example of this. we're talking about top of mind brand recognition. Your visual logo is extremely important. Why do you think that is? Yeah. What you see visually is processed through your brain 60,000 times faster than anything anyone will say verbally. All right, communication is tonality, and when you're doing verbal, we'll get into it later, is tonality and body language. But when we're seeing visual, it's extremely important. You could go ahead and this or that. Okay? So it's very obvious what it is, but if you think about it, that logo, every time someone sees it, reestablishes in their mind what the hell I do for a living without me opening my mouth. When I take that logo and I put it every single place I go, I'm always marketing my business. It's the same reason why advertisers have t-shirts on. I was going to wear my Attracktor t-shirt today and I didn't, but I was going to do it only for the reason that I wanted to have Attracktor in your guys' brains before I left here. Because I understand what visual does for the mind and everything. So go to the next one.
So what happened?
Yeah. Which one's more memorable, this or this? You see, a lot of everything counts. All the marketing counts. You understand what you're going to get before you call me. I'm not going to answer the phone and say, hello, sir, nice to meet you. I'm going to say, what's up, bro? That's what a dude does. Okay. But I know that I'm putting myself and I'm speaking through my brand, not through me individually. It's extremely, extremely important. So I'm going to give you a couple other examples. These are a couple other brands we've done. All of you guys have a story. Like, I don't believe this business I think it's a tough business. I don't think any of you actually do this on a daily basis unless you have a why behind it. There's a reason all of you are doing this job. It's tough, right? It's stressful, ups and downs, ups and downs. When you know what your story is, it's very easy to market the brand. So for example, that Relief Realty is a story about a couple who actually fell on hard times in 2007, and they went through foreclosure themselves, and they actually came back out of that and now are investors and rehab tons of houses all over San Diego market. They provide relief for families. They're actually living their brand through their story, and that is their mission statement. She got to come list me a couple weeks ago. Some guy called in off the sign, like, I need relief. Called and got a listing from it. So the branding really does matter. Can you go back 1 second? Faith and Vision is let me tell you what this agent's doing. This is I love this brand. It's a Christian-based concept, Faith and Vision. And what she's doing now, her media series, is that she's doing a media series with her clients called Where Are They Now? And she's going to meet her clients 2 months after the closing. And where she's going this weekend is to Seattle. And she's capturing it all on footage and using that to market her brand, because the why behind her business is what's coming through. She believes that her mission here is to give others the faith and vision to obtain home ownership and create a legacy. When you know your why, marketing your business is easy. That making sense?
Yeah.
All right, keep going. So, keep going. So here's the biggest problem. How many guys, like, you know that you have to market your database. Mike said it earlier. We know we have to be in front of them, but we don't know what the hell to say, right? What do you send them? How do you nurture them after a transaction? This is a staggering stat. 80% of buyers forgot their agent's name 6 months after the closing. In a business that's 51% referral dominated, how do you get referrals from someone who doesn't know you exist? What does that really say about our business? See, the value when you're playing the long game in this business, the transaction you close is nothing. That's just a paycheck. The value is in the 3 to 5 transactions you do over the course of the lifetime with that same individual. The multiple referrals that same individual has the ability to refer your business down the road. So it's extremely, extremely important. When you know your brand, it's easier to stay in front of them, is my point.
So Mike, years ago, 2011, the stat was that every person in your database that you work directly with is worth $93,000 over a lifetime of your career. That was 2011. Things have changed again better since then.
Totally agree. Totally agree. How many guys have been like, I always use this example with agents. You're sitting there, you might be having a drink or a glass of wine with your friend. You know you should go home, be like, screw it, I'm gonna stay for another 30 minutes. Now in that 30 minutes, all of a sudden someone walks in and turns into like a $300,000 referral. How many times does that happen to somebody? And you think to yourself, you're like, I didn't just do that. That would have never happened. When you're branding, you gotta be everywhere all the time because you really never know when your next opportunity is going to occur. You just have to be consistent with it. It happens all the time. That's the key. You can't develop a brand without consistent communication to your database. So what is your brand? Don't overthink this. It's your personality. Just be you. If you're old, monotone, and boring, be old, monotone, and boring. You're going to attract the same people. If you're young, energetic, and you're a fitness person, then go out and be the best fitness person out there. That's who you're going to attract. It doesn't matter, but just be you, right? So when you're speaking through your brand, it's reflected in all of your efforts. The way you email, the way you post on social, you could go through all these. It's in your blog, your website, your about page. Your brand is just you. That's all it is. People remember you. And when you just start being you, you start attracting business. It's really that simple. Keep going. Now, this is the stat I told you about visual helps. When you're marketing your brand, think of little things like how many of you guys on your Facebook images, when you're on Facebook Live, should always have a sign behind you that says what you do. If you're just doing Facebook Live like this, people remember the visual. This is so important, especially for social media. Your timeline header should always have something that reflects in real estate. Purposely take pictures with your branding in the background because you don't have to tell them buy or sell, buy or sell. When there's your sign that says for sale, it's already there. One of the cutest timeline photos I ever saw was an agent with twins and both of her kids were holding a sold sign. That's a really cute way to say my mom's a realtor on social media.
Or she sold her kids on the video.
Yeah, right. Keep going.
Yeah.
So this whole concept is about building an audience. All right. It's just about looking at our database as your audience. Your database and your Rolodex of relationships is no different than my local demographics of people who are going to buy my tacos. Okay. Just understanding whom your audience first is where it all starts. So a database, how many of you guys have database, a collection? And what do you guys using for a database?
Z57 from California.
Do you have an email list? Do you have a direct mail list?
Yes, both.
Both? Awesome. How about the rest of you guys? How many of you guys actually have a list of clients, and are you actively using that list to communicate with your database?
Yes. Direct mail.
Perfect. Direct mail is my favorite to database. A database, a lot of times we'll do this presentation and agents will be like, I have a database. And you go and you see it's on an Excel spreadsheet. Your database isn't really worth anything unless we could fix that. It's not worth anything until you establish consistent communication. An audience is the difference between an audience and database. An audience are people that actually listen to what you say. That makes sense? When you develop an audience, you can only do it by consistently communicating with them. And when you do that, you start building your own personal brand. And that's when attraction occurs. And all we're doing with our concept here is just bring into the real estate business what every business runs their business. So let me give you some examples. How many of you guys have kids here? Is Bye Bye Baby big here? No? Oh, that's a bad example. Well, this is the only one I have. No, it's good. So let me show you. This is how Bye Bye Baby markets their business. So when you go to Bye Bye Baby, when you're first having a kid, I'm forced there to go and fill out the registry, right? They ask you for your email address at the checkout. Now, why do they ask me for the email address? Just to send me my receipt? I don't want the receipt. I'm already crying about the money I spent at Bye Bye Baby. I don't want to see the receipt. But what they really want is my email list. They want my email address so they could establish consistent communication to my email. Now, when they do that email list, their value add is a stupid 20% off coupon to the fact where I'm telling you guys about their 20% off coupon. I get a 20% off coupon from them via email, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. It's consistent. It doesn't go away. That email list is also being retargeted to me on Facebook. So when I'm scrolling through Facebook, I see Bye Bye Baby 20% off coupon. Now, just from those two sources alone, would I go to CVS and go buy diapers, or would I rather go get my 20% off coupon? So I also get it in the mail, direct mail too. I got 30 of these freaking things in my house, and it's 1, 2, 3. Zappos. One of the Zappos, when they pulled all their advertising, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, at least. So Zappos, if you guys ever read, what's the name of that book? Not sure. So Zappos saw this happen in their business, and they pulled all their advertising expense because they realized that 75% of their new sales were generated from their existing clients, which is no different than in real estate. They realized that customer service and investment in customer service would actually drive more sales because they were getting more referrals of new customer acquisitions into Zappos than they were acquiring new customers. And look at our business. It's the same freaking thing. How expensive is to acquire a new customer? Not cheap. Mike has numbers down better than anyone I see. And we know the top people in the country on real estate lead gen. And he knows his cost. What is the number per new customer acquisition?
On a listing, it's higher, but it's up to 25%.
it's no different in our business. A referral and getting the client and acquiring the client is very expensive, but the battle is not won by just the acquisition. The battle is won by turning it into multiple sales, turning it into a referral source, turning it into repeat business. All right. So it's the same thing that they do here, and that's all we're really doing with real estate. You can go to the next slide. A business takes a business. They define who actually drives sales. You can keep going. And what they're doing is they're just setting up distribution channels to establish consistent communication to their networks. So they do social media, email, direct mail. They put it in front of their audience, which is their ideal customers. And when they do that, people talk and business comes. That's the simplicity of the model. If you really think about it, in real estate, we're taking our Facebook pages, our email list, direct mail. This is our database of relationships. And as long as you're everywhere all the time amongst them, people are going to fall into your little tribe. Does that make sense? All right. You go next one. So the biggest point and why I'm hammering this out is you have to look at your database as an audience. When I started in real estate, I was 22, and it was hard to sell a $400,000 condo in Chicago when you're brand new. People didn't take me seriously. I found all my business from the nightclubs. I was going out late, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had a yellow pad of paper in the back of my pocket. And every time I met someone new, I knew 1 in 10 conversations, one of those fuckers was moving. I knew that all of them knew someone who's moving. And when I woke up on Sunday morning or Saturday morning hungover, the very first thing I did was jot their data, because I knew as long as I stood in front of them for a long enough time that they would eventually be moving. It's not a matter of if they move, it's a matter of when they move. Knowing those numbers is extremely important. Yes, then we had tacos after the bar. So when we're looking at our database, this is the reason why we're marketing. We're going to start hammering and getting through the meat and potatoes of this. Keep going. There's 2 types of sales that we're going to market our database for. And there's only two results that happen. You get their direct business or you get their referral business. Now referrals, like I said earlier, is why we're doing this. That's where 51% of buyers close from. We just so happen to get their direct business. And this is the biggest thing I see with agents. We market our database to get their direct sales. No, we market them to get their referrals. All right. Now, when I was 22, the reason why I did this versus, true story, the reason why I did real estate versus financial planning was because I knew in real estate, everyone was a potential client. Financial planning, it's like, I don't want to go out and sell this. Not everyone invests in IRAs or 401ks or any of that stuff. So everyone's a potential client, but everyone has a potential to refer you. That's the main goal. So you keep going. So people will buy from you. They'll use you. They'll refer you. 60 to 70% of people today still use the first agent they speak to.
I think it's 72%.
72?
Back to the cost of lead, just because we didn't really cover that well enough to really drive it home, I don't think. But a good ROI right now, if you're going to invest in finding outside clients, between 10 and 25% of the commission you make, or 3 to 1 ROI. So for every dollar you spend, you might make 3. How much are you to spend on your sphere of influence to make it?
It's the least expensive. I'll walk you guys through all the numbers. It's the least expensive amount of advertising you'll spend. No doubt. All right, Jess. So, good segment. So that's how, the question here is that we're looking at the value of each relationship and literally coddling each relationship. If you look at your clients as only a transaction, that's so short-sighted. Here's a really good story. So 2010 or 11, I got a referral from a client of mine, and it's an $8,000 short sale on the south side of Chicago. Have you guys seen the news lately?
Oh yeah.
What happens on the south side of Chicago? $8,000 short sale. So it was about 120 to 150 day file. We closed it. Our commission was, I think, $900 divided by 3 people. And we're talking about going down there doing a BPO, all this crap. It was just a bad deal. Now, most agents wouldn't have taken on that deal. A lot of people said, I'm not going to touch it. Not only was it not in my market, but it wasn't worth the investment, just the time, or was it? A month after we closed on the short sale, that client turned into my largest referral source that year. He generated over 1.4 or 1.3 in business over 3 different referrals. Now, if I did not take on that referral at that time, I didn't get that deal. And it's funny because when you look at it, the people he referred us to other people, and it just kept going. It's a snowball effect. So the point is that I understood that once I help someone in their worst time in their life, that I know I have them for life. and I'm going after their relationship for their referral business, not their direct. He just so happened to have a direct sale in the meanwhile.
So Mike, you pointed out the average time that people move like up to 5 times in their lifetime. That's where that number came from for GCI that will bring you. But when you add in the referral to that,
That's unquantifiable, yeah.
That's where you're, 100 grand plus. Each client, is worth 100 grand plus to you when you do the relationship right.
Yep, absolutely. And you really don't know. You really don't know where it's going to come from. It's just about being consistent with everybody that you know. Basically, well, I'll go through this and I'll test a little bit. So those are numbers. Do the math. It literally is a mathematical equation. It's a mathematical fact that people move. I have 6 to 9, 5 to 7.
I think 8's average national right now.
Eight's average and national right now. If you have 100 people in your database, 8 of them are moving this year. Just do the math, and it's literally, you could reverse engineer what your potential is.
And think about that, because 60% of those people buy and sell. So it's actually, most of those are dual transactions.
Yep. Keep going. So start looking at your database like this. Every single relationship counts. If you have 100 people in your database this year, you got to start looking at your business this way. How many of them are actually moving? Well, statistically, we said about 8. Now, all 100 of those know one person is moving, a minimum of one person, but Mike's right, it's more like 3. The question is that when they do that, are they going to actually refer your name or share your name? You increase your chances of that happening when you're everywhere all the time, and you create top of mind brand awareness. You go over here on that slide. So remember, it's not our database's job to refer us business. We're not entitled to their business. It's our job to remind them to. It's extremely important that if we're not proactive in that sense, don't expect people are going to give us a handout. We have to go out and get it. Part of doing that is being consistent in the communication with them. The only goal here, again, is not lead generation. That's the biggest mindset. When I'm sending out an email or I'm sending out a direct mail piece or whatever it is I'm sending, it's not to generate a lead. That's where everyone's like, that's so weird you say that. Like, why do you say that? It's not. It's to generate the attention of our audience. There's more value in your own personal brand than there is in their transaction. So let's break down how that works. How many of you guys know how psychology referrals work? We'll do a little bit of a test here. Do you know why people refer you business?
They like you.
Yeah. What else?
I think it gives them a sense of, I don't know what the word is, control, or being in the know.
Yeah.
People like to help other people.
Yep. These are all correct. Think about when people are referring, how a referral actually happens. Let's just break down the psychology of it. This will be like a Seinfeld episode. They don't get a gift. They don't get an award. You can't pay them, right? They don't get any cookies or anything. You keep going. So what's in it for them? Why is someone going to refer you business? Why is 51% of all buyers who closed last year, why were they referred to their agent? Why does anyone care? Why do we stop? Why do you stop and introduce your friends to the plumber on Facebook? People only refer you business because they like you or they like your service. They like the person who is asking for a referral, and they like being able to solve a problem. So you're right. We're wired in our heads that we like helping others. That's how God made us. Anyone in here not like helping others or doing a good deed?
Great business for you.
Yeah. So really think about that, and think about the last time. I'll give you an example. So me and my friends would go out to eat a lot. Before I had 2 kids, we'd go out to eat. And what do people talk about when you go out to eat? The next place to go out to eat, right? You sit there and you're like, oh, the restaurant's amazing. And it's like, all we talk about is food. So at the same dinner, 2 of my friends were hanging out there. And I'm like, did you go check out this restaurant, RPM Steak yet? Did you go check out RPM Steak? He'd be like, no, I haven't. I'm like, fuck yeah, I got him. I'm one up. Now, I'm excited because I gave him a referral for RPM Steak. Now, subconsciously, what I do, the next time I see him, why the hell I remember this is weird. I'm like, did you go check out RPM Steak, dude? Right? I want to just see if he checked out RPM Steak. Why? Only because I want him to tell me thank you. Do you ever realize how that works in your mind? You guys all do it. You only want to be acknowledged for the deed that you've accomplished by sharing a valuable piece of information with somebody else. That's why people refer others business. I quit referring people contractors because every time I did, I would get a call from the client telling me how much they hate them. All right, so I stopped doing that. Now, if I had a contractor that I could refer that people would brag about, would that not add value to my business? Absolutely, so I'm gonna go out of my way to refer them. So don't overthink this stuff. It really is that simple. People like to be able to solve problems. And the truth is if you're not messaging your database, someone else is, and they're going to get the referral.
Mike, in a sense, referring business is actually self-serving.
Yes.
When you understand that, it kind of changes your perspective on things.
And seriously, someone go on Facebook right now, just do a test. You have your phone out? Go and ask for a carpenter. And in about 30 minutes, let's see how many referrals you get. And I want you guys to see.
Actually, that's kind of a hard one in our industry right now, so she probably won't get any.
So give me an electrician.
Who knows a good electrician?
What about an air conditioner guy? You'll get a good one like that.
Yeah.
Just ask for anyone. Ask for some that's awkward, and you'll be like, why the hell do all these people have their cell phone number on them right now? It's creepy. How do you know your plumber's number? It's because people go out of their way to refer someone business because it feels like we've done something good. And we give ourselves a little pat on the back when that happens.
Seriously, but why? I'm not even divorced, and I sell all these divorced people's houses.
That's for divorce.
All right.
See how many messages Evan gets.
Oh,
What took so long? That's funny. All right.
Parentheses asking.
So go ahead and try it. We'll revisit it at the end of the next session, and we'll see how many is there. And this happens all the time, folks. You see it on Facebook. You see human interaction. When you know why people refer you business, it's a lot easier to start marketing your business to obtain some of those. 3 things needed. It's all it is. Referring party has to notice a conversation about real estate. One of the things you'll see in Attracktor is that our marketing, our messaging, our direct mail, or our video email content tends to go out on days where people have the most conversations. 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day. Why? Because I want to be top of mind brand awareness during those conversation times. I know when people are getting drunk, they're talking about moving. And I want to be top of mind brand awareness. So it's absolute truth. You have to start thinking upstream, like Mike says. Father's Day, emotional days, right? Valentine's Day. It's amazing how once you start playing the game. So they have to notice a conversation. 2, they have to think of you. This is where the top of mind brand awareness comes in. You cannot be referred if you're not thought of. If you're the 80% of people who forgot their agent's name, you're not getting referrals. All right? If you keep going. Keep going. Maybe keep going. Keep going. So here's how the plan is. It's very simple. Remember the Best Buy example. So what we do is we take out, and this is what Attracktor does for you guys. We'll start getting more into what you guys are going to have access to and all that other stuff. So you take your brand, right? Make it something memorable, whether it's your visual logo, whatever it may be. Have it represent you. We set up a direct mail list. I'll give you my stats that I had in Chicago. So I had a direct mail list of 193 people. I did this for 15 years, sold over 2,000 houses. I had only 193 people on my direct mail list because I removed myself from business 5 to 6 years ago. I should have 800. I gave all my leads to my agents. I'm an idiot. But out of the 192 people, I still did really good business because 10 to 15% of them this year were moving. 100% of them know someone who's moving. And direct mail has a 100% receivership rate. Does anyone not check their mail when they get home? The reason why direct mail is so effective is because a couple of reasons. 1, you're gonna get 100% receivership. 2, it's physical. If they throw it in the trash, they still took mental acknowledgement I existed. That's a lot more powerful than an email or a video or a social media post. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So consistency with this, right? I'm farming my relationships, and that's really what Attracktor is. It's a giant farming, nurturing system for your relationships so people don't forget what you do. That's the simplicity behind our system. Now, email, inside of Attracktor, we have video email. We use video email because we average a 40+% open rate. What we're fighting for is the attention of our audience. We're always thinking, don't forget I exist, don't forget I exist, don't forget I exist. Video email will increase your open rates. I had 392 people on my email list, and I knew at the same time that 10 to 15% of the 392 were moving. 100% of them know someone who's moving. So I farm my database via video email. I wish them holiday greetings, not turn back the clock emails. I don't need to tell them it's springtime because they can look out the window and see for themselves. I'm going to give them content and create stuff around my brand that is more authentic, more unique. Here's what the fireworks are this 4th of July. Don't forget to tell a service person thank you for their service on Memorial Day. Don't forget to tell your dad Happy Father's Day. So social media is the same thing. Look at Bye Bye Baby. Your social media reach, your personal page is where your relationships happen, not your business page. We're not that cool. that people are following us on our business pages. The business page, in my opinion, is the pay to play, pay to advertise, but I would not engage on it regularly for the referral point of view. Referrals happen on your personal page. People don't follow us. Mike, do you agree with that?
100%.
100%.
So let me ask you a question. If I have this list here going here, this list here going here, this list here going here, am I everywhere all the time? You start to build a brand when you're everywhere all the time. That's all this is. And all with Attracktor, it takes 15 minutes a month. If you guys give me 15 minutes a month, you can do the exact same thing. That's all we're asking for. You don't have 15 minutes a month to invest in your database, you're in the wrong business. So the other half of it, we're not going to get so much into the transaction management side of things. Attracktor is a transaction management platform. I want to talk about what's the other side of what I see is happening. 12% of business in the United States was repeat business. But we know that during the course of the transaction is the highest likelihood to obtain referral business. So let's talk about the importance of transactional marketing, what I mean by that real quick. I believe that the first transaction is obtained on a listing, for example, the first 2 or 3 days, because that's your first showing. Your first showing doesn't come off the MLS. It's your seller breathing down your throat, looking to see if you justified your guys' commission. You guys agree with that? So how do you get out ahead of that? Customer service. It's all we have left. Now, you guys will have access to our transaction management system is meant to enhance the client experience, earn your money. We're not going to get into the details of it today, but I wanted to point out a couple stats that were really, really staggering. So that stat right there, what sellers think about, what did sellers think about their agents? Oh, I can't read what that says. 19% said they'd rather sold on their own than use an agent. That's 1 in 20. That's 1 in 20. That's a big stat for our industry. You go to the next one, it's a little bit crazier. Wait, do I have that? Keep going. Back. Oh, this way. Forward.
Can you repeat that stat of 19%?
19%. Top 5 seller regrets. 19%. Only 19%. I'm sorry. Said they would have rather used an agent instead of selling on their own. The next slide I have is it said like the grading. They graded their agents, and it was like a 60%. So that was their satisfaction rate. In any other business, that's a failure rate. It's like a 60% of people approve of realtors in general.
And if you look at most of the stats, what we're really applauding in the industry is like a lukewarm response from the seller. Like, yeah, the agent did okay. I was happy enough. And that's what most of the stats are based around is, are you happy enough with your agent? Not are you like world-class experience, but
Right.
you're happy enough.
Yep. When you provide like the best service, your clients turn into a walking billboard for you. That's the truth. Like people, because think about it. Like my journey, I was moving. I told everyone and their mother I was moving, even the cashier at Walmart. So I'm out there talking, and damn right. Anyone I came across, I was in a big referral situation. People offered, hey, do you have a realtor? Do you have a realtor? Do you have a realtor? Time and time again. You go to the next slide. This is what I think is coming. The Redfins, you're going to have the flat fees, the purple bricks. So we have to compete against them with service is what it's going to come down to.
These guys probably don't know what purple bricks is because they're not here yet and they're not talked about.
I'll explain. So Purple Bricks came into the West Coast right when I got out there in San Diego, probably last summer. I'm like, what the hell is Purple Bricks? What is this company? They're full service flat fee brokerage for $3,750. They'll list your house, full MLS and all that. Now we all know it's not full service. You're dealing with, rookie agent most of the times, and the service can't be full service. But what I see happening is what they're doing in the airwaves. Every other commercial, TV commercial and radio commercial is a Purple Bricks commercial, and they're really throwing realtors under the bus. Their whole marketing strategy is misery working with an agent, right? Well, how does it say? They say real misery is losing thousands of dollars selling your house. So they're going right for the pricing. Same thing as Redfin. It's going to happen here. That service is exactly how you battle back. Right? I could go get my hair cut 2 places, a salon or Supercuts. To me, I don't really have much hair. They both do the same thing. I go to the salon when I want a little massage on my neck or something. I'll still pay more for service as long as it's justified.
And experience, right?
And experience.
So let's talk about Purple Bricks and their market share. That's the part that's staggering. You're talking about up to 30% wherever they go.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, 30% of the market. We don't have that at RE/MAX here.
Yeah, it's safe to say, I think, I mean, that's pretty much what everyone's saying. 30% is we'll go to flat fee brokerage, that'll be the market share. How we get out ahead of that is just outshine them. Same way we always have. It's not a bad thing. People get scared. I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the industry to clean itself out, and we all know that needs to happen. So keep going. Zillow's buying houses. You keep going. So Inman News came out with this article back in 2015. We've been screaming about this for 2 years, and now it's actually happening. But this was in 2015. You can see the stats. It said, what are the largest threats to the real estate industry? It said low quality agents, a broken consumer real estate experience, and entry by non-industry companies. Well, all three of those things are coming true today. Right? So it's not like the writing hasn't been on the wall forever. It's just about what are we doing to prepare for it? How are we going to fight back? So keep going. I believe how we handle the less expensive options is literally just by, you got to have better service, which means the MLS listing assigning the yard can no longer just be your marketing plan. Sellers expect you to run Facebook ads. Sellers expect you to hold open houses. Sellers expect you to use video. We're getting a video in the second half of today. But I mean, this is what people want. This example, and to give you an idea how to handle that, you have to create your service in the same way. I like tacos, right? $8, $80. Both of those places will fill my belly. Except I'll go to the $8 one at lunch because I just need to eat and fill my belly. I'll go to the $80 one in the evening because I want to fill my belly and have some margaritas. I'm still going to be full at both of those places. See where I'm going with it? So you have to know how to battle back against that, because if it's just price is only an issue when lack of value is present. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. And that's what we have to show. What is our value? You keep going, Jess. Go ahead, Mike.
Does it say, do you choose on the $80 option, do you choose your margarita by coolest class then?
Yeah. You keep going all the way to the bottom here. You keep going. So the paradigm shift's coming.
No, and you're just totally like promise.
Now we're going to get into what Attracktor does. So just know that Attracktor is going to, what Attracktor does is two things. You guys, it nurtures your database of relationships. There's a CRM inside of it. And it's it. It takes 15 minutes a month. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to be having a series of webinars for all the Realty Group agents. We'll be onboarding you guys into it for those of you who want to participate. Because you guys have such awesome owners, you guys have zero charge. The typical monthly cost is $497 for the 30-day onboarding, and it's $97 a month afterwards. The owners of your office are giving it all to you guys for free, so applaud them for their investment in you guys.
What are you saying?
We'll come in, I'll show you guys what it is a little bit.
No, the cost.
It's free for you guys.
Just tacos.
Just tacos. Referrals. Write me a review on my podcast.
You know I like Chipotle.
But so we're a referral marketing system, CRM. We're a transaction management system. It's going to be a transaction management platform you guys like. I think you'll like the inside of it. It's very easy and intuitive. But we're also a marketing company. We're going to be talking about videos today. So what we ended up doing is we built our media company inside of Attracktor. And all of you guys now have done-for-you video editing services at your disposal at any time that you want, including green screen, live videos, and that's what we're going to talk the second half about of this presentation. We're going to go to the other slide. Can you go to the other presentation? You guys will all have a special sign-on link. We're going to be sharing that with you guys probably next week, Mike?
Yes. Yep.
You guys will get an email, and if you guys, whoever wants to sign up for Attracktor can get in there, and we'll have like an intro webinar so we can show you guys what it is. But everything we spoke about today is exactly what it does. You guys have any questions on that?
I have a statement on it. For those that are using Sync and don't like it, it's a robust system, hard to figure out, and it's really a lead management system versus a true customer CRM. So for those that are using it and aren't thrilled with it, that's why we're bringing in a second option for all the referral business that Sync just doesn't seem to be able to really facilitate for you guys. So, hopefully with that, you guys will jump on board, with us on this and really start using it. It's an easier system by far.
Mike, this Attracktor is really for someone who wants to, that uses their sphere to get their business and
Yes.
to be able to control it and get more business.
And to be honest, for those like yourself, Bruce, who do lead gen too, Attracktor eventually, the way we're going to be building this out, is going to have kind of a one spot where you go that can have multiple different CRMs and things going on inside of one platform. So that way you don't have to pick or choose.
Right.
You can do both.
Let me ask your Let me play devil's advocate on that. Now we say Attracktor is mainly for warm, but it's also for prospects. Let's take Facebook ads, for example. Those buyers or those leads are 3 to 18 months out in advance. And how many guys are getting a lead? You have a great conversation, you build some rapport with them, but they're not ready for 6 to 8 months because all leads are now inquiring way more in advance. So how are you staying in front of them on that? So use Attracktor the exact same way. The content that we're dripping out, whether it's the postcards or the video email, are more humanizing in nature. And they're there to nurture the relationship versus convert it. Does that make sense? So even if you have a cold lead system, you all need to still be building a database because that's the infrastructure of all of our businesses anyways. So if you don't have a local database, start building one and start taking your leads and turning that as part of your database for the ones that actually count.
Still opening.
So anyone have any other questions?
I assume you'll have a export from our one database to yours, or import, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
You're not going to type them all out one at a time by hand, are you?
It's a one-by-one manual.
I wouldn't be able to do it if I had to do it.
We have several services. So we have done-for-you services. We have database management services. We have to clean up a lot of people's data and lists. Up until last week, we were able to export Facebook, your contacts, but you can no longer do that. Has anyone done that? We all just missed the boat on that. You could have had your email list done in 2 minutes. Now it's no longer, you can't do it anymore.
We will be allocating some help for you guys to get those CBS files loaded in. So we will be having some help with the services so you guys make appointments to do that.
Does anyone, why we're having some PowerPoint issues? Anyone else have any questions? Well, we're going to talk about the second half of this. And did everyone understand that? We're going to talk about video, creating content. We're going to talk about the more advanced stuff. And you're going to see exactly what our media company can do for you guys in terms of the content we can create. All the above. So how many people have a direct mail list? How many people you have in it?
I have it broken up into A, B, and C. The A's are 69, 67. The B's are about 58. The C's are 72, I think.
Did you mail the C's and the B's less than the A's?
C's and the B's, I mail C's and B's more than A's. I'm
Really?
trying, well, because the A's are really close and I talk to, and I'm trying not to get them to the point that they're sick of getting stuff. So I've cut it back to about once a month.
This is a good conversation. So what kind of stuff would they be sick to get? What are you sending them?
Just general. It's not all about real estate. I mean, sometimes it's the videos that I do or blogs. I'll send them blogs.
Sure. That's good.
I'm trying to not give them too much. So they go, oh, just another thing from them. Because in between, I'm calling too on some of these people.
And hanging out.
And hanging out.
I agree with that. I don't know. Interview us.
Sure.
Got
Got it. So what we're going to talk about in the second part of today is how do we create that non-real estate related content? How do we tell stories with the stuff we're already doing? And this is where a lot of our media side will come on in and give you guys a lot of different ideas.
Sorry.
Huh?
Same.
No? Do I need
No, I can hear you. Same.
yeah. My email, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's the
Take a bathroom break.
Yeah.
You guys want to take a bathroom break while we figure this out?
Sure.
Take 5, 10.
Jessica, do you want
There's been right back.
We will have to do that.
The first half. I was gonna go home with one less time. I was just like trying to open.
We get like coffee.
So you, I did, but it was.
So, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about creating content. How many of you guys are actually creating content or knows what that really means?
Say that again?
Creating content around your business.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the new video stuff I'm doing, yeah.
That's content.
Yeah.
So let me explain what content is first, just to dumb it down. Content is anything, it's any story you share. It's anything that you post publicly. It's anything that you share about your daily activities. That's content. Content could be as simple as you taking a picture of a really cool kitchen to you taking a picture of, a cool looking house from the exterior. It doesn't matter. That's content. Anytime you're communicating everything that we're doing, we consider content. Now, creating content is exactly how we sell without selling. The reason why we're doing this is to build our own personal brand. So we're constantly sharing our stories, and that's what content is you're a good storyteller. We're constantly sharing our stories. It allows us to market our brand without talking about real estate. So let me go back to, you guys remember the Denver guy dog example, right? He doesn't sell dogs. He doesn't sell people houses. He sells dogs' backyards. His closing gift can be a dog house. Taking a picture of at the closing, the final walkthrough, he's taking a picture of the closing gift being the doghouse with his clients. That's content. It's no longer just sold, it's another dog's life saved, and here's why. So it's storytelling, in other words. But what it allows you to do is when you start sharing your stories about the activities that you're doing, it turns into content that people are attracted to. Facebook, for example, is not a classified ads section. And how many of you guys see agents that are like, I've been in business for 25 years, do. And what do you guys think about those ads?
Don't look at them.
What do you think people think about those ads?
The same.
No one really cares, right? Because it's self-serving, it's talking about us. When you become really good at storytelling, it allows you to express the same point without you really saying it. So you could show versus tell. And I'm gonna give you guys a lot of different examples so you can put it in context. Now, storytelling also allows us to create conversations with people we would not have otherwise met. Let's go back to the dog guy. Do you guys think that somebody who is literally giving 10% of their commissions for the good of the dog rescue, do you think other people would rally behind his cause?
No.
Huh? You don't think people would rally behind saving dogs' lives? What kind of person are you?
I love dogs. Well, no, but other people sometimes don't because they think it's stupid. You should put it behind cancer research.
Sure. Everyone has their own opinion, but how many people would purposely use it because of the cause behind it?
Oh, yeah, I would.
Some people will just use them just for that reason. Look at Homes for Heroes. You guys all know what that is. Homes for Hero is a program that any of us can recreate on our own and simply enact the same thing. Homes for Hero created a program based upon the cause of the mission behind it. It's the same thing. Every time there's a commission sold, there's a hero saved. It's the exact same thing. So it's that storytelling is what I'm talking about. Now, this is a different way to look at lead generation. How many guys prospect? I just want to, and what are you guys doing for prospecting?
Calling or
What kind of lists?
what kind of list?
Mhm.
Leads by local.
Okay. Anyone else?
Visiting,
Visiting, like Popeyes?
like bags.
Okay.
Use a Remind.
Say again?
Remind.
Remind.
Yeah, up our stall mass.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a tool. So looking at basically like 3 different tiers, seeing who's moved and when. It's kind of a sell score, which I don't know if it works or not, but kind of like spreading out direct mail and saying, hey, this is your equity from only
Got
3
it.
years living there and welcome to the neighborhood kind of thing.
So on each one of these lead sources, it's safe to say that you guys have an idea off of how many people you have to talk to before it turns into an actual closed leads. Like, so for Zillow, for example, national average is like 2 to 4% on a close ratio. 4% is pretty good. I've seen more like 3%, but if 1 in 40 Zillow leads close and you're really running a business, you know what your numbers are, right? Now, Zillow, to me, isn't a lead generation platform. It's a conversation starter. You know what agents convert the most amount of leads on Zillow? Ones who talk about the dog for 20 minutes before they even mention their mouth about real estate. They're professional conversationalists. Have you ever seen someone that's converting at a very high level on leads and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? This guy sucks. He's killing it. And you're like, holy crap. It's because that person can hold a conversation and that person can wine and dine on a telephone. It's the people who can't convert and they're just not conversationalists, I believe. That's my opinion on that. Now, people are inquiring to generate a lead, but they're just asking for information and all we're doing is sharing it. The lead is either converted, I believe when you're doing scripting or you're talking to a lead, I believe the first 5 seconds either is the biggest, most opportune time because that first 5 seconds is when you continue or obtain the permission to carry on the conversation to do the conversion. You guys ever get that feeling when you call back and you're like, hey, what's up, it's Mike? Like, hey, what's up, it's Mike? 2 totally different reactions just on the tonality that you use. Now, with content, let's look at the same stats that we're talking about. If we know 1 in 40 conversations are going to end up closing, I know 1 in 15 people that I'm talking to are moving. I know every single person that I run into knows someone who's moving over the next 12 months. And that mindset is the difference between the both. There's not a right or a wrong. You should probably be doing a little bit of both. But don't underestimate the numbers with when it comes to with sharing your story. We call it content marketing or creating content. You guys follow me with that? Be in the right place all the time. We're going to talk about video on this. It's a different way to look at lead generation. When we start using video, you're not going to be able to quantify it. I promise you. You're not going to be able to say this video caused a direct sale. What you will say is that, and how many people are doing Facebook Lives in here? Anybody? Consistently? Are you starting to notice when you're going out with some of your friends, they're like, oh, I saw your videos. And you're like, you actually watched that shit?
Strangers come up and recognize me.
So let's talk about this because it's extremely important is that you're building a personal brand through creating that video content. And even though we don't think, because you can't quantify it, she doesn't know how many people saw it, she's having the conversations at weird times. And that means it's working for you. Good job. But everything we do is content. You have to get in the habit of storytelling. The smartphones you guys all have in your pockets are nothing more than a computer that you can snap and share your daily real estate story on a consistent basis. So we're talking about creating content. It's everything. It's just listed. It's coming soon. It's blogs. It's videos. It's neighborhood videos. It's holiday greetings. Small business interviews. You guys are living HGTV. Would this channel exist without the appetite to consume that type of content? Think about it. There's a whole freaking network that did the research for us. We don't have to think about this. This is just copy what the hell they're doing. And we overthink what content is. Like people, believe it or not, are actually interested in what realtors do on a daily basis. So it's a lot easier to just literally copy the plan of HGTV and just do it. There's no, you shouldn't think too much about it. So I see a lot of people, do you guys ever see a realtor running a Facebook ad for Zillow before? You ever see that?
Yes.
I've seen realtors promote like Inman or Zillow. They're paying to share other people's content. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen it a few times. It's funny. Now, the reason why you got to share your own content and create your own is because if you share someone else's, it doesn't really do anything to build your own brand. And the whole point of creating content is to build on that brand. So the goal is to humanize the brand. It's to be real. It's to be authentic. You have to literally create your own personal brand. You cannot rely on somebody else's. But there's no shortage of content whatsoever. My business partner, Sam Karamian, is, to give you an idea of the power of a brand, we were talking about it last night at dinner. So my business partner, Sam Karamian, he owns a company called Big Block Realty, number 31 on the Inc. 500 last year, or 26 last year, 31 on the Inc. 500 this year, fastest growing brokerage in America. So Sam started doing a Facebook Live video consistently every Wednesday, where he's just giving out content. He's just doing a training, and all he's doing is filming what he's already, what he's doing consistently. He's just putting a camera on it. Now, Sam got offered the other day a percentage of a tech company just because of his personal brand. Said, hey, I just want your name on this project. I'll give you 1%. I partnered with Sam because of his personal brand.
Mike, can you just back up for a second, talk about what that race with live really is? We're not talking about some high production here. The guy literally sits at a table.
Yeah.
He sits at a table and talks.
Yep. And people watch.
That's all it is.
Because his content's really good.
What's he
Now,
talking about?
he talks about real estate lead generation, business mindset, more motivational business talk. And he just has a mastermind with his agents, and all he does is just film himself. Yeah, it's just good content.
What's his name so we could follow him?
Sam Karabian. Yeah, you guys should definitely follow him. He's got really, really good stuff.
How do you
But-
spell his last name?
Oh,
Here,
God.
Yeah, good luck. No,
It's KHORRAMIAN.
K-H.
But never before, and I'll prove another perfect point. Never before did you have the opportunity to create your own personal brand like you did before. 10 years ago, would I have been able to call myself real estate marketing dude, pick up, leave from Chicago, start a brand new career at the age of 38, and literally go ahead and do it and create a podcast that gets 5,000 views or downloads a week? No, because that would have been unprofessional then. The internet and all this stuff has allowed us to be us. I could have done Chicago real estate dude 10 years ago. People would have shot me. Like, there's no way you could have done it. But now everything is getting more personable. Have you guys noticed that in business? People are wearing flip-flops to showings. I love that. Some people hate that. That was my brand, but it's acceptable, right? People bring their kids on showings. You couldn't do that 20 years ago, but now people are bringing their kids on showings. Whether you like it or not is obsolete. The point is that everything's getting more personal. So don't take this for granted. You can only create business and top-of-mind brand awareness when you have a freaking brand. You just have to realize what yours is. In your case, you guys are all real estate agents. All right, don't forget what people, 96% of people chose the agent, and that I believe that when someone looks at you online, the first thing they do is visit your about page. And they see how you are, and they see how you roll. And if you don't believe me, how many of you guys have booked a trip on Expedia, Travelocity, recently? Anyone? Did you look at the reviews before you hit submit?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. What other people say about your brand is more powerful than anything you could say about it yourself. Now, same stats, you guys have seen this. The whole point of building the personal brand is just about top-of-mind brand awareness. Now, the key is don't make it boring. This is where we get stuck. This is why defining the brand is really important. I'm gonna give you guys a lot of different examples I might have in here, but where we start is at the very beginning. This is something we do in a program we have called Flip This Agent, where we basically flip an agent's entire brand. And what we do with it is we define their content strategy. We have a therapy session with them to really figure out which is the most marketable and authentic brand for that individual agent. I'll give you guys some examples. We have an agent, we branded her the San Diego Real Estate Mama. The San Diego Real Estate Mama's content plan is all about San Diego. I think it's just called San Diego Mama. But the content series is based upon the top 5 beaches with changing stations, the top 5 breweries with kids. Breweries are big in San Diego, and they have a lot of kid breweries where you could get drunk and let your kid go play in the grass. It's a big thing out there. Where to go trick-or-treating for your kids. You see, what happens is that when you sat her name's Denise. I go, Denise, who the hell are you? Tell me who your last 10 clients were. Well, her last 10 clients were all moms. Like, that's not by accident, Denise. You attract like people. So now we need to put you in the position to attract like people. Now, from the branding point of view, the San Diego Real Estate Mama is the excuse to keep her brand in front of her database. Does that make sense? And who the hell gets mad at San Diego Real Estate Mama? Can you get mad at San Diego Real Estate Mama? I can't. She called the FSBO the other day, a couple of months ago, and the guy's like, he's got 50 calls from realtors that are just saying the same script, right? Reading the same shit. And guy's like, what brokerage are you with? He's like, I'm the San Diego Real Estate Mama. Convert, come over for the appointment. The guy starts laughing because it's real, because it's authentic. And think about your own sales functionality. Like when you guys, how many people have done business with a financial planner recently? Now, after the financial planner invests your money, you notice how they sort of like, They scat. What was your thought of that? You're like, so nice. He was so nice up front, and now I don't hear from him anymore. Right. So that's what we're talking about is how to keep staying in front of with the brand, because we need an excuse to consistently communicate with our database, but the brand gives you the excuse to do it, if that makes sense. Any questions on that? Because that's the first part I really want to hammer down. Now, defining the brand sets up your content strategy. So Relief Realty, what would Relief Realty talk about? And the reason why this is important is I believe the jack of all trades is the master of none. If you don't dial in your message, you're just one of the rest. I think you could really focus and do more deals focusing on a select few group of people who are authentic and true, and naturally would connect with you anyways. So Relief Realty, our family cures your family's house problems. What kind of content would Relief Realty create? I would just tell the stories of the family that helped. It's very simple. They have an easy content strategy. Now, if they wanted to do Relief Realty and create a local video series, they could create content on people who provide relief to people, like those little IV companies that give hungover people IVs. You know what I'm talking about? I would interview that, right? If you wanted to create some more entertaining content, there's no shortage of it, but the concept stays the same: relief. When you're creating content, you brand it to yourself. That makes sense? Sociable agent. This gal's in Tucson, Arizona. She's about 65 years old. We did a deep dive with her. She works for EXP, I believe. We did a deep dive with her, and then I'm like, this woman is fucking cool. I want to hang out with her. She's so much fun. She, like, when we get to know her, she's always like at the bar. She's drinking at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not that she's an alcoholic, but she's just social. She knows everybody in the area. So she started a media series called Tucson Social. What do you think she's going to talk about? Tucson. She's a neighborhood expert. That's what realtors are. But if she doesn't have the definition of her brand, she doesn't have a strategy to go ahead and launch it. Now, what she'll be doing is doing videos and small business interviews with businesses that are social. So pretty much restaurants, bars. But there's also local events, Tucson events, kids picnics, Easter egg hunts, stuff along that nature as well. Anything that's social, she now has a media series that she could call herself the Sociable Agent. Now, her personality is what comes out. Like, does that logo look fun? You get an idea off of what she's sort of going to be like before you even see her face. Mm-hmm. You get an idea off of it, and that's the power of branding. Now, see what else we got here. Regina Flores Group. Their whole brand is on a checklist. It doesn't have to be a creative name. Your brand can just be you too. It could be your first name and last name, but you can still build in the visual imagery that reflect what your persona really is. In her case, she has a really cool model. It's prepare, pack, and prosper. She does a full service done for you moving system. She comes in, she declutters, she takes the furniture out, they stage, they turn off the utilities. It's literally a 100% done for you type model where they do everything for their client. The client does nothing except like sign a piece of paper. So their brand is all about that. She created a series called Ramona Revealed. She's a Ramona, California agent, and she's creating Ramona Revealed about the business owners who create the Ramona community. Now, when you have your, let me give you another example. So when we're looking at sold, how many guys are posting your just sold and just listed online? And what are you guys saying typically? Like, what's the messaging?
Speaking to what the house is, but something unique, about, I don't know, what the community.
Do you know what we're saying when we say just sold? Do you guys know what we're saying? We're saying, I just made a bunch of money. You did it. Fuck you. That's the truth. Now, which one are you going to click on here? A story or just sold, a brag reel?
Story.
Absolutely. See, what we're doing with the listings is we're just telling the story. We're HGTV. HGTV has a whole video series about people going through the buying process. This isn't rocket science. We're just copying what already exists and putting it into our own words. Now, this case study actually, we do some listing marketing for agents. So what we do is we create case studies and we document everything throughout the course of the transaction. So we document the coming soon campaign. We document the active campaign, and then we turn it into a case study at the end of the day just to tell that story. Well, which one are you going to click on? This homeowner sold their house in 3 days for 4% over list price, multiple offers at an open house. What? Here's how. And think about the dog example. When you start storytelling, it's a lot more effective and people are drawn into the story. Now, the context of the case study is my listing presentation. I'm showing versus telling. Does that make sense? It's extremely, extremely powerful. Think about your ads for your just sold. I love running just sold ads, but I run just sold case studies because it's never about the agent. It's always about what they can do for others. And it's only possible when you learn how to tell stories. That makes sense? Yeah, it requires a lot more work, but you know what happened to that one case study? So this agent is like, what's my thing? Oh, the floss is good. The agent is like, I was sort of mad. I'm like, she's not coming back for, it's a perfect example. I'm like, she got like 2 more listings. I'm like, why did she hire us to market the rest of her listings? I'm like, did we mess up? What the hell's going on? Then she came back last week and she was like, oh yeah, we got to do this. I'm like, why? What happened? What's the difference? You didn't give me the other 2. It's like, well, someone called from the case study and they said, I really need a realtor like you to go ahead and sell my house because we're buying and selling a house at the same time. So she got a double deal just from one Facebook ad of $10, I think we spent max. And now she got another sell and a buy just from that one case study. The content we create from the stories that we're already living becomes the marketing piece to acquire more. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
But if you don't document it, none's going to do. Your website is nothing more than a documentation center of everything that you've done in your life. Sold, just listed, your blogs, your content, your video series. Your website is your storefront. That's the way to look at it. Have you guys seen this video, the floss guy? So a couple of people have. How many of you guys have kids and you see your kids doing this thing? Right? So this video went viral, got over 1.2 million views. And this is an old slide, but it's at 1.2 million views now. This is not a high quality footage video. All it was a tripod and a step. And what this guy does is he does the floss in every room of the house. He does it on the toilet. He does it in the shower. It's hilarious. And you want to know what happened for that house? 1 million views. This guy got a reality show offer. I'm pretty sure he can't publicly say yet. But he got 12 offers the first weekend on the house. He had people calling him from Europe, Australia, Saudi Arabia, China, all from a stupid video. Why? Because he capitalized on a trending topic and he was willing to step outside the box and do something a little bit different. And I put this, this is, actually, it's funny, I got that stat. This is getting 20 views a minute right now. I tracked the whole thing because I knew that thing was going to go viral. And it sure did. But what do you think this guy's brand has come into now? Just that one video. That one freaking video. When you're going to start doing video, it only works when you commit to it and you do it consistently. I'll give you another story. In Chicago, I took on a rental listing. So I would take on anything. If it's a referral, I'm going to take it on because I'm going after the next transaction. Rental listings, I'm sort of like, sucks, it's more work. But part of my process was I do videos on everything. And I did do a video on the rental listing. So I'll give you the numbers. The unit was $2,200 a month. Our commission side was $1,100. The video cost me $300, okay? I had 3 people on my team. $800 divided by 3 was our net profit. The video that I created was Chicago Lost for Rent, became my #1 most watched video. And because I had that video and I did it consistently, it generated over $75,000 of commissions in the first 12 months I had that video. I'm still getting calls because I'm a loft expert because I did a video. So point is that you never know when your next break's going to come. That was a surprise I didn't plan on. I'm sure this guy had an idea what was going to happen, but if he didn't commit to it, it would never came, is what I'm getting at. Super, and I highly suggest that you watch that video. It's super duper important. So next question we get is, do you need a website? How many of you guys have your own websites? So here's my opinion on a website. I believe your website is your online business card. I don't know if you're going to actually compete against Zillow with like search on your website, but I think in 2018, everyone's looking to see if you have one. Think about your cold lead gen. Like, I think people are going to literally look you up first, just like you did with Travelocity. You looked up the reviews before you committed. People look at you before they call. They want to see if they like you, if they get along with you.
Can I tell you something on the analytics side with our websites here? What we see agents doing well with website is when they link them to their personal Facebook profile. And then what they'll do is the customer will like your profile, they'll look at it, they'll look through your pictures and your content, and then they'll click on your website, and that's about where it stops.
Part of our services, we do have WordPress sites. If you guys want, we could build them for you. They're sites you own, not leased. And if you want IDX, we could put it on there. But the point of a website is to add all of your content to it. When I had my blog, in Chicago Real Estate Dude was my other site. When I had my blog, I started blogging. I made a commitment to blog. I started creating case studies. I started just adding content to it. And over time, I used that content to help me sell and convert more leads because I could refer back to it. It ranks under certain search terms, but I started somewhere, and it starts with the commitment of creating content. You guys get my point? Now, when we're talking about video marketing, it's an amplifier to your referral marketing efforts. What I mean by that is look at the 3 prongs that we're talking about: direct mail, video email, and social media. You don't need to do video email, videos, and don't need to do a video plan. But if you do, it's an amplifier. And then this lady right here is a perfect example of that. She's doing just Facebook video or Facebook Live videos, and she has people talking about her because she committed. How long have you been doing that?
Probably a couple months.
That's it?
Yeah. I've been doing it.
It's great. That's great. Couple months because she committed to do it. She didn't say, I'm scared to do press play or record. No, go out there and do it. Now, it's an amplifier is my point. You want to make sure that you realize that. It'll amplify your referral marketing efforts because video is a brand building activity. Now, when you're creating videos, we're going to go really in depth to this today for those of you who are joining us for the DIY bootcamp. But there's 2 types of videos to create. There's scheduled and or planned, and then there's transactional. So what we want to talk about is how do we create and launch that, and how do we sort of plan this all out. Let me give you a difference between the 2. A transactional video is storytelling on the transactions you're actually occurring on a daily basis. A planned video is a series that you have pre-planned that occur on the same time every single month. So if you're going to create a video series and you say, I'm going to do 2 a month, great. It's like starting a newspaper. You better publish on those dates. You guys, does that make sense? If I were to farm a direct mail neighborhood and I get a geographic area right around the corner here, I pick 500 doors. Me not being consistent with my video marketing is no different than me saying, all right, I'm going to do 500 houses, but I'm going to take off January and February for my direct mail, and I'm going to return back in March because I don't have the money. Is that campaign going to work? You can't. You got to do it with consistency. So the importance of video is just understand it's not going to be quantifiable. It's not going to generate leads. You're going to generate calls, but you're not going to be able to track it for the same reason that you're seeing right now. So that's the first thing. We always get that. Video is just more memorable. It's impactful. That's all it is. All right. Now the key is not so much on what you say, it's how you say it. That's the absolute key, and that's why it's so important to define your content strategy.
I went to a listing appointment last Thursday, and I walked in the door, and the lady said she's so happy to meet me. And she went to one of those paint parties, and she made a plaque for me that said "Be fearless," because she says in my videos.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that stuff? Do you guys hear that in the back? It's extremely powerful. People, it's funny because we hear those stories a lot with like the Facebook Live. People like, oh, someone really watching it. You don't know if anyone's watching your stuff, but they are. And even if there's 200 views, you don't really know which of those views happened. But that's amazing, and that's exactly what happens. It makes you more approachable. I bet you if we pull up your feed, that you're probably super cute, super authentic, just super natural on these videos. Like you're probably not doing anything polished.
They're not professional.
Perfect. You have, this is going to sound gross, but honestly, I think you'd have a better video if you farted in it versus being totally polished.
He knows this from experience.
I want to see if you guys are listening.
And there goes the tacos.
Yep, there goes the tacos. You have to look at it the same way. Video starts with consistency. The very first thing is committing to whatever the hell you're going to do with it. And then you have to do it consistently as you would direct mail farming. If you take a break in the middle of a campaign, it doesn't work. All this is with consistency. The same way how our direct mail system works with consistency, the same way how video emails with consistency. That's the key here.
And the funny part about that is that you wouldn't think that she was a lady that watched videos or that she cared about me, and she's never posted, she's never liked.
You didn't even know her?
She's like a friend of a friend, but
Wow.
you know what I mean? I've never seen her, we've never intermingled on Facebook or anything like that.
That's your personal brand working for you.
Yeah, and for her to make that sign for me and give it to me from watching my videos.
So now this is a perfect example, storytelling. That is something you have to be ready on the cusp, take a picture of it and tell the story and how she did that for you. Everything is storytelling. One of my most social Facebook posts, I was showing houses in like a high-end area in Hinsdale, Illinois, western suburbs. And we went in the basement and the dog took a shit on the carpet. So my post was holy shit, showing home. It was the most commented, shared post that I had. But that's the point is that you have to be ready to catch that stuff. Remember, we're all human. We all think the same stuff is funny, but quite often we're just like, oh, should I do it? Quit thinking about it and just do it. Just make sure you don't have like a freaking Nazi sign in the picture or something like crazy.
So
just go ahead and freaking do it, right?
Just videoed your phone and said, holy shit, because we ran into cash shit last week.
Yep.
I saw a lady in the market somewhere else that put on the back of her SUV that says, "I will sell the shit out of your house."
Perfect.
And I shared that with my former broker, and he said that person was out of business. But in reality, she had commented how people started coming out of the woodwork.
I love it.
You're exactly right. I'll give you another example. Someone sent me this website of a Vegas real estate agent, and the Vegas services the porn industry. And we went on her site and we're like, holy crap, this is like, it was just a step above illegal. But it works for her. There's an industry for that, and that proves the whole freaking point. There's an industry for everything, and you're going to be with those people anyways. All we're saying is just start talking to them. Own it. Yep. So now when you're looking at video, first thing is consistency, commit to a plan. Secondly is know that you're making videos for your primary database, but you're multi-purposing for your secondary database. Okay, so the concept is simple. Your brand strategy creates the content strategy to keep in front of your database, but simultaneously we're going to position you to resonate with people you get along with anyways. That's why it's so important to talk about stuff you like. If I start doing videos talking about like science and hypermolecular atoms, I'm going to be so uncomfortable because I have no idea what the fuck I just said. But if I start creating content talking about beers and breweries and stuff that I like doing, beaches and all that stuff, then it's going to be very natural and I'm going to be authentic and people are going to be naturally attracted to me. Think long term. When you have these videos, we had an agent, they got an awesome video. I'm like, where'd you post it? Nowhere. Wasn't on their website, wasn't on YouTube. When you have these videos, you always want to multi-purpose them as much as possible because you don't know who's going to see them. You don't know if that video is going to turn into that deal. It's being consistent with it. You never know the next deal is going to come, but you have to optimize these things on YouTube. Put them on your website. Video email it to your database. Put it on all your social platforms. If you don't distribute the video, no one sees it. Filming the video is half the battle. Distributing it's the other half. And using it as content. The other thing with video is that it'll last forever. Look at the Loft example video. It's still kicking. People are still watching it. And the videos on your website still kick. We had a video, if you go to my Chicago real estate dude site, you guys can look on the different pages and you'll see there's a video on top of every page. The reason there's a video on top of every page is because I know it helped me convert. People would see me on camera and they'd be like, oh, I knew they either liked me or not. And I didn't care. I was more important to, it was more important for me to make an impression. If no one's hating on your stuff, you're not doing it right. If people don't think that you're doing it wrong or you don't have any haters, I think you're doing it wrong. And you have to expect that. I had a broker say she doesn't want to talk to me because and I'm very toned down today, guys. If you saw my normal presentation, I'm usually like, F this, F that, but I'm trying to tone it down. I had a broker that wouldn't talk to me because I swore too much. I said, fuck you. No, and I said, that's fine. But I know that I wouldn't work well with her anyways, in all honesty. So the point is that just be you. It's a library down the road. So let me, I think we got a video here.
So I'm gonna see if I can grab this sound. That's what
We're gonna see this in the boot camp. Yeah.
Loud enough in here?
I don't think we need the sound. It's not as important. You guys can start to hear it. These videos are shot on an iPhone. We're gonna need a super duper camera to post good enough. We're gonna do this when we do the video boot camp. We're gonna break down these shots, show you guys everything on how to film these on your own. You'd be amazed at how simple they really are. But if you notice, this is just a training video. We shot this in like an hour. There's a beach right by my house called Moonlight Beach. I don't know why I'm walking like a duck. Chicago. This is it.
The first time I landed here in San Diego, the first beach I came to was right here. It's called Moonlight Beach. Right, Moonlight Beach is right in the heart of Encinitas, and it's freaking gorgeous. I mean, there's like mountains on both sides, cliffs on both sides. You can see it. It's just a
Mountains,
great spot for the kids. Bring your family, come out here and have picnics on the weekends. I mean, just look at
I just want to show off my personality. That's all we're doing. I'm not polished. I'm not trying to dress in something I wouldn't wear naturally anyways. I just want to be me. And people will are attracted to that, believe it or not. Being you counts. Now, let's go through. That would be like a local point of interest video. Now let's talk about neighborhood videos. Realtors are neighborhood experts, right? It's our job to be on the forefront. What better way can you position yourself as being a local expert than to be talking about local stuff?
Can I add one thing to that too? The third most cited reason why someone chooses a particular reason or a realtor is because they feel that they have great local neighborhood presence or knowledge.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
It's the neighborhood videos. None of this is talking about real estate. Doesn't have to. You can infer I'm in real estate. This is my team back in Chicago. We used to do these once a month, and it was a team building exercise. We'd bar hop, get drunk, and film videos. We had a lot of fun. Content helped us keep our brands out there, you know, and people like the personalities behind it. Jerry, every one of my team with brand new agents, all of them are doing over 7 to 10 million a year.
Between the loop where all the businesses are at, and then River North is all on this side. You ever seen the movie Transformers? This is the scene that was shot in where the Transformers are fighting in and out of the scene. Look at that backdrop. It's absolutely beautiful. That rounds out the southern edge of River North.
We're here at the most western point of River North, right actually along the river in Montgomery Park. A couple blocks east of us, we have a ton of residential
The only thing we didn't have here is I would have put our logo here.
A lot of newer loft buildings.
It's at the bottom. You always want to have your logo at the bottom right hand corner, just because that visual.
We also
Oh yeah,
have a
that's
dog park, and you can walk to multiple restaurants and entertainment all throughout
What's funny is
the
that
area.
we have we have a lot of couples that are doing a lot of video content, and this is like turned into their date nights because people are having fun doing it.
Cafe behind me, so the Rainforest Cafe.
Luke's really drunk right there.
You got the pillows in the corner right there, which is more of a local.
Yeah, he does look hammered.
Yeah.
Right now, we're right outside the Erie Cafe. Super cool little spot that not many people know about. If you're a tourist, you probably won't find this spot, but many Chicagoans know about it. It's on.
Now, which one's this? See which video is this one? Oh, okay. So you get an idea off of when you do video, it doesn't have to be about real estate. I actually would tell you don't. It's better for it not to be. Because the goal of the video is to warm them up, get them to like us, get them to trust us, show them that we're just real. We bleed. We're human beings. We're not a commission-based salesperson. We are, but we're not. That's not all we care about. So when you're creating the local content, it's about brand awareness, website traffic. You have different goals for each piece of content that you create, which really does define your strategy. This is the most powerful one, the small business interviews. What we're going to be learning on the second half of today at the boot camp, for those of you guys who are making it, is we're going to show you exactly how to film those videos with that little gimbal, with a wide angle camera lens, and with your cell phone. And they're really, really, really simple. Now, why do you think small business interviews are a really good strategy? I would recommend doing that before you do anything else.
I'm assuming when you're giving them the exposure, they're going to think of you when they hear of needing a real estate.
Partially. Anyone else?
My whole thing is about going out and it's called Local Love and I interview a bunch of.
Oh, you're the local love girl. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. So for me, it's about just helping other people and I moved around a lot and I wanted everybody to feel like a local and I want to drive the business back to them.
Yes.
So they're just.
You hit it right on the head. So if you think about it, small business owners represent 5 to 7% of the population. Small business owners are the movers and the shakers. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
We're all small business owners. We're the people that refer business out. So are the other small business owners. So what we're doing is we're just creating TV commercials for them. And we're creating relationships doing that. How many other realtors go to that business and put them on blast, optimize their video on YouTube for rank, and do all this stuff just for free? You're not. You're going after the relationship. If you guys are interested in this, I highly suggest listen to the last podcast on my website. We interviewed Kyle Whistle with Whistle Realty. Have any of you guys heard of Kyle? Kyle's the #1 agent in San Diego. And what his business model, he started a series called East County Eats or Santee Eats. All he does once a week, he interviews restaurant owners.
Kyle's big into geofarming too, right?
Yeah. He couples it with farming, and he's just everywhere all the time. So he ended up building this like killer brand. He's one of the top video influencers in the market. But this is all he's doing. This isn't rocket science. He's putting them on blast, and in exchange, they're getting him referrals.
So Mike, to really think about this for all the referral agents and the sphere of influence agents here, imagine, Kim, if you're doing these interviews and, 4 times a year you're doing client events, you can move your client events into those spaces.
I created one for next month. I'm moving a bunch into one of the places.
Now all the people that are seeing your stuff are now going into those businesses. That's a huge win.
Yep. We have there's a girl in, this is funny. So there's a girl in Big Block office, and she was going to start a media series called Deal-619 because she's a shopaholic. She loves shoes, she loves nails and all this stuff. So I'm like, why don't we just turn this into a marketing op? So she's going around and she's negotiating like with the, I don't know what you call the nails people. What do you guys call them? Salons. Yeah. She's negotiating a 15% off discount for the nail salons, and she has a huge following. She has 5,000 friends. She knows everybody in the neighborhood, and she's going to promote them for the 15% off discount. And the coupon's going to be on her website. That makes sense? See, the content is just a way to keep our stuff in front of it, but if it's not valuable to your audience, it's not going to work. What's valuable to your audience is sharing what you guys already appreciate and know, like, and trust yourselves and informing others about it. That's all it is. This is an older video. I don't know which one this is.
So Mike, can I ask you something? You mentioned something last night that would resonate with some of our audience. You talked about the dog person. Yeah, can you tell that story? Because there's a few we did already. Really love that.
I'll give you guys a bunch of examples. Did you guys? I talked about the dog thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I was out of the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you been, dude?
Whatever.
He's eating his Chipotle, trust me.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to share this one with you because I'm so proud of her. Okay, this is the Ramona Reveal agent. And this was the first video they did. They just did it 2 weeks ago. And they went to the same boot camp you guys did, and they did a really good job for their first footage. You have to remember that we're not creating Steven Spielberg type quality videos, all right? We're creating authentic, real videos. It's not supposed to be perfect. You will fail and trip a couple times on your footage. If you don't do that, you're not going to learn. My point is that you have to just freaking do it, and you'll get better. Don't overthink it. Look at this video, it's really good.
Hey there, Regina Flores Real Estate Group, back with another episode of Ramona Reveal. And so I've been waiting for this for months, and it's finally here. Anytime Fitness opened up in my building, and now I have no excuses not to work out. Because it's literally, as you can see, steps away. So let's go check it out.
What we're really after is just her personality.
I enjoy that we are finally open, and we're going to be at 24/7.
Do you think a gym owner is going to run into a lot of different people that are going to be in a referral-based position? He's only the second gym in Ramona. We're going to optimize this video to rank on page 1 of YouTube. We're going to set up a little shareable marketing list for that Regina to get on his Facebook audience. And we're gonna turn this into a blog post and post it on Regina's site.
Excited to bring this up.
Now Regina, because she's in the town of Ramona, this is digital farming, you guys. She'll create the video and we'll promote it to the whole town of Ramona because there's only like 38,000 people there. So in her case, she's gonna be the digital mayor of Ramona. Her strategy is small business owner interviews throughout, revealing the people who make up the community.
We have free weights, we have cardio.
She's getting involved in the B-roll, she's working out, she's smiling. That's what I want, because that's what makes her human.
So come on in, we're excited to have you.
Does that make sense, folks?
Yes.
So if you're doing a community interest video, what we really want to do is we want to establish new relationships with business owners. So there absolutely is a strategy behind it. Think about the dog guy in Denver with the, he probably already knows all the dog people, but he's going to become the dog realtor. He's probably going to get way farther doing that than trying to be the realtor that helps everyone. It's easier to speak directly to the people you want. What's interesting about the dog guy too is that the Facebook page that owns the dog rescue has 20,000 likes and followers. So I don't know if he got it approved yet, but I want him to create content for that audience. Because Facebook pages need someone creating content. They need engagement. They need someone to do it. People will be happy to help you promote your stuff to get access to their audience because they're too lazy to do it themselves. Sink it in, folks?
Yes.
Now you can have fun with stuff too. This is Valentine's Day video. The most important thing with videos, when you expose your own vulnerabilities, people really, really like them. This is just a fun little, we used to just do a bunch of stupid stuff, but this is a fun little Valentine's Day video.
What's up, Mike? What are you doing for Valentine's Day? Valentine's Day is a manufactured holiday made by the corporations, man. I'm not going to do anything. Rudy, baby, you don't know why we have Valentine's Day? Yeah, it goes back to ancient Rome. Emperor Claudius II. Basically, what he's trying to do is he's enjoying his bloody crusade, but he's having trouble getting everyone to follow it. So he thought that all the Romans...
I researched it, no.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Our video strategy for the video emails is the history of holidays, because no one knows why we celebrate the holidays. So it's fun fact-based. People like the content.
Sounded so not like you.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole funny part about it.
Yeah.
Because it isn't like what the dude would do.
He was about to, his sense was content for him, so he fell in love with a girl in jail. And before he was decapitated on the last day, he wrote her a letter and said,
So now we're making fun of him like, hey, you didn't know about Valentine's
I
Day.
see what you're saying. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to call my life lady.
So like the subject line for that Valentine's Day video is I love you. And we're just like, there's so many different plays with Valentine's Day. But the subject line we always use every year is I love you because it gets opened like crazy. And I love them for sharing my name with their family and friends for their referrals and repeat clients. So you could use the holidays as a way to segment creatively into it. And we share all those subject lines with you guys and the whole concept.
Send out Happy Valentine's Day?
No, I don't just send out a Happy Valentine's Day. We want to make fun with it. Remember, Hallmark created a whole freaking business based upon holiday greetings. And why do we do that? It's because holiday greetings, people can't get mad about you for it. That's why we follow that strategy. No one's gonna get mad about you saying Happy Labor Day, Happy Groundhog's Day. But the only reason we're doing it is because no one else is. And we're just doing it in a way that no one else is. And that's top of mind, brand awareness. So we're going to do the video boot camp today. We're going to go into the details of all that. We'll go through how to shoot different scenes and any of that stuff. Anyone who's doing the boot camp, we will actually craft out your content strategy, line by line, script by script. So you just have to copy and paste those shots in. So for those who are making it, it's going to be pretty cool. So any question on that? That first section is what I would call planned content, scheduled content. I'm purposely publishing videos for business owners or local community events on a certain time each and every month. Now what we're going to talk about is creating content out of your listings or your buyers. It's all the same thing. How do you create stories with all these different things you're already doing? So the very first thing we do is we build a property website. Second thing we would do is how are you guys doing videos for your listings?
I did.
Listings lead, maybe with the
So me-
slideshow pictures.
Does thinking about it count?
Almost. I'll give you 40%.
It's still a primary.
So this is a big, big tip. The goal of the video isn't to sell the house. It's to build your own brand. Create the videos for your own brand, and simultaneously, you're going to please your client at the same time. But remember, these videos are going to live forever. If we have time, we'll go into YouTube. I'll show you all the rankings we have, and you'll see how it'll build up your clout online. But you have to commit to doing them. Remember my example of the $8,000 short sale. If I didn't do a video on that, that video turned into over $75,000 in commissions. So it's being consistent. So we would do a video. Look, I have a.
What do you guys, can I just ask, how many people are excited about the Attracktor platform that we're talking about and the content strategy? Are we excited about it? Yeah. What I'd love for you guys to do is actually get on our Facebook page and post about it, because I'm never happy with the attendance unless we have 100% of people here. Obviously we don't, but I would love to have you guys help spread that message. Nobody listens to me.
So you'll see, I did put some examples here. Now, when we're doing the listing, we're doing two things, right? And start thinking about this, start being proactive. The reason why we do all the marketing for the listings in the way that we do it is twofold. One, or threefold. One, it's our job. It's why they hired us. Two, I need to please the client. I'm not after closing their house. I am, but the money is in the multiple transactions and referrals they give me down the road because I'm playing the long game. Three, we multi-purpose it on YouTube for that. And what we'll do is we'll get out ahead of the seller, because we know the sellers are first showing. Like we said earlier, the sellers are like, what are you doing? You earning your commission? You guys agree that the relationship is either really good or really bad within the first 5 days of working together? Sets up everything. It makes a lot of sense. So we'll do call action technology. We'll send out just listed postcards. We'll post to all the social sites. And this is just on the coming soon page. We'll run Facebook ads to coming soon. How many guys are doing coming soon? That's the easiest lead to build because it's not publicly available. They have to go through you to get information for it. Your signage, remember 10% of sign calls turned up to be closed buyers. That's a huge stat. Is everyone using call action?
Not everybody, but I'm trying to get them to use it.
You guys should absolutely be using call action. And you guys have a good deal for it too, don't you?
Very good deal. Like a third of the price you can get on your own. But again, nobody listens to me, so.
Yeah, you guys, is everyone familiar with what call action is?
Yeah.
Can I share it with you guys to show you the importance of it? So here's why I like call action. One is you guys are doing the direct mails, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. So call action is just a text message autoresponder, and it works because it's very authentic. So it's no more email, text message autoresponder mixed in with voice broadcast
lead capture.
And lead capture. So when we're sending out a just listed, what's the first thing people want to know? If you're hitting the local community, you're hitting the postcards. We're ordering postcards. People have been in their house for 5+ years because they're more likely to move than the other ones, right? And it'll be in the local radius. But the first thing people want to do is, what the hell is he selling for? Is he selling for too cheap? Or did I make a lot of money? There's no in between on that. So make it easy to obtain the information they want. Now you do the same thing on your signs. Someone who calls in off a sign is way more qualified than someone who calls in off Facebook. We had this is interesting to say, I didn't tell you this either. We had a publicly traded company call us. I introduced them to Travis Tom, who's now working with them. You guys heard of the Beacon? The Beacon is a device you put in your house, and basically if someone drives past, it automatically message like, hey, this house is for sale, to an Android phone. It's a push notification. The company who developed that software, I introduced them to our friend Travis Tom, the Facebook ads guy, and Travis is working with them because what they're doing is they're driving sign leads because they know sign leads are way more qualified and they're investing a lot of money into that. So your signage, the goal of every listing is not to sell the listing, please the client and find another client off of it, then sell the listing. Don't just do the deal. There's so many marketing opportunities that come out of your listings. And the seller expects us to do it, but if we're gonna pay for marketing, we might as well try to turn a profit on it. See where I'm going? This postcard is meant to generate leads. The sign call is meant to generate leads, but the client expects me to be doing both anyways. Post on all your profiles. My biggest sale came from being consistent on LinkedIn, believe it or not. It happened right before I left. $6.3 million client. Fraternity brother. Haven't spoke to him in 15 years. Forgot he existed. I post all my content on LinkedIn the same way I post it on Facebook, the same way I do it on Instagram, and I'm consistent on all my social channels. Calls me up. Hey, Mike, I'm going to buy a house. 6.2 mil. Holy shit. Damn. Yes. Right? I haven't talked to the guy. LinkedIn kept us in touch. Consistency and content came in touch. I don't know what video he saw. I know he saw one of them. That's what consistency does. So remember, your social sites are nothing more than extensions of your database. Facebook ads, the property website, I love, because especially when they're coming soon. But what I like more is that this is what Attracktor looks like. We actually will publish and track all of the links that we promoted their house on, and then send the client a video email before they can look at it themselves of all the marketing tasks we're doing. Does that make sense? Why do you think I want to do that?
Show them that you're working.
Yeah, that's it. I know they're talking to a lot of people right now, and I want them to share my name with every single one of the people I speak with. If I don't have good service, that's not happening. Good service to them right now is earning and going above and beyond the call of duty. Now, that's just a coming soon. Once it goes active, we rinse and repeat that whole marketing campaign. This is call action technology. I won't go through this all. We put it on Zillow and all the other stuff. We plan the open house. Here's the point I want to get at. Is that when the listing sells is when I think there's a true marketing opportunity, because the whole deal is closed and the story just needs to be told. So I will hit the just sold postcards and I would send that to the same audience I sent the just listed to. Because what do you think they want to see? One, they want to see how much did you sell it for. The second one they want to see is how much did it sell for? That's the case study. That case study generated a listing and a buy a week after she did it, because we turned it into a story, and it was a lot easier to market that than it was to market her brag reel of how much money she made and she just sold a house. Instead, she's talking about the people she helped in the process. And people will consume stories, they don't consume advertisements. All right. Any questions on that? Just get in the habit of sharing your stories on your clients. You guys getting video testimonials? That's an easy one. Remember Travelocity. What someone else says about your business is way more powerful than anything you'll ever say about it. Trust me.
It's the same concept as social proof with reviews, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You talking about use one thing, that's expected to buy it.
Yep. All right, so there's transactional content. You guys see planned content with video. Now we're going to talk about blogging. How many of you guys blog? Anyone? Awesome.
We all do.
Do you? Great. So blog. You guys know what blogging is? Does everyone? I didn't know what it was forever. That's why I asked. There's other types of content that we could create. We could create real estate content, closing costs, how to buy and sell a house at the same time, how to sell your house by owner without a real estate agent. We could create content that people would be looking to consume. So let me give you an example of how something like this would work. This gets a lot more advanced. If I wrote a blog post of how to sell your house during a divorce, and I targeted that blog post to people in Facebook with relationship statuses, I'm going to retarget my ad for a CMA to people who watched that first piece of content. Does that make sense? You want to go through one more time? I write a blog, how to sell your house during a divorce. Facebook is very easy. The best Facebook audience I've ever seen is relationship status. Why is that? What's the first thing someone who's breaking up does? They post it because they're going for a rebound. All right? And we know 82% of divorces turn into sales, into listings. So we're just putting our content in front of the people who are most likely to need us, is all we're doing. So if someone, how to sell your house during a divorce, if you're getting a divorce, are you more likely to jump on that piece of content and be like, how do I do this? So I'm creating content that people are already looking for is what I'm getting at. And if you're going to blog and you're going to create that type of content, make sure it's something people search for. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it to begin with. The biggest piece of engagement, look on Zillow, are the questions. Some of the people that convert on a high level in Zillow are simply just answering their questions. And they're gaining their trust. Now, why do people do that? It's because you're coming from a place of value and contribution as opposed to like just going in for a sale. You're answering their questions, giving a relationship. That's what content does. Now, status, retarget everyone who read that. All of this stuff sort of follows the same strategy. And I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you guys, but there's no shortage. My point today is that there's no shortage of content to create to get your brands out there. And the truth is that there's a different strategy for each of you. You just have to determine what the hell that is. Because what might work for one person might not work for the other as much. So it's really up to you to figure that out. But all we're doing is becoming the Google of real estate. That's all this is. Put yourself in a position to be a resource and business will follow you. We do have another service we could do. We actually could write your blog posts. We'll film your green screen videos. The way that it works is we have over 40 different topics that I've written about. And what we do is when we bring an agent on is we find out what their personality is and we rewrite this content into their personality. Once we have that, it becomes more authentic and natural. We'll give you the video script. You guys can shoot in your green screen studio right here. We'll tell you exactly what to say and how to say it. And we turn it into a piece of content that you can put on your site and use to stay in front of your database. I have no idea what video this is, but let's see.
So listing your home to sell
Here's
can
one.
be quite stressful. And you're gonna wonder, what is everyone else gonna think about my house? I made some good memories here, but what are they gonna think? Will people actually like my house? What do I need to do to get it ready? Will they even want to buy it? So the truth is, everything matters. I got 4 simple tips to ensure everybody falls in love with your home. Whether it's decluttering, whether it's repainting, staging, or even photography. In this week's Lessons in Real Estate, click on the link above or the link below for 4 great tips that'll help people fall in love with your home that won't break the bank.
Short, sweet, to the point. So you could create professional content. The reason why we use green screen though is why, you think?
Change the background.
Just to make us more exciting. Real estate content's not that fun. It just, you're able to bounce around. So what we'll do with that is we'll actually create the blog post on our site. We put the video on top of everything. If you're gonna start doing video, you need to have a site, in my opinion, because of where you're gonna host your videos. And my advice is to put a video on every single page. The video is there to warm them up. The video is a conversion. People aren't going to call you if they don't relate to you from the beginning. Would you guys agree with that? So the video is just going to be, personality showcased. Now, we have a lot of different services you guys are going to have. You guys will learn about them as we get to know each other and you guys onboard into our Attracktor and whatnot. But anytime you guys are using us for anything, is that we're optimizing, managing, and distributing all your content for you. We're not just editing the video. We'll optimize it to YouTube. We're going to email it through Attracktor to your email database. We're going to upload your email list to Facebook, and we're going to boost those ads to your database list for you because it's easier for us to do it than show you how to do it. That's the truth. And we have it down to a science. We'd rather just do it for you. So just know that if you guys ever use this for anything, we will do it for you 100%.
If this whole brokerage got on board with this, would all of our stuff be the same with Attracktor?
No, that's the best part about it. She asked a good question. Like, would you guys conflict in? So,
Same stuff.
Yep. Not at all. Because remember who we're targeting it. Your list of relationships isn't the same as his or hers or hers. You're going to keep the content from the people that you're going to network with. Literally every single thing we can do in here and duplicate amongst every single one of you guys, and none of you guys would be speaking to the same audiences. Because the audiences are primarily your own database of relationships, and then the multi-purpose that for people you would naturally get along with anyways. Typically, we call that the secondary audience. It's a spitting image of yourself. Did I answer? Now, inside of Attracktor, and if we have time, we could show them, sort of walk them around because I'm going to be done in a sec.
We have some food we could, you wanna do it like while they come in and eat and.
Yeah, we could do that.
Formal type of.
And I could, if you guys want, because we're gonna end a little bit early, and I think we're till 12.
11:15 or so.
Okay. So we have a whole training center that shows you guys how to do all of this stuff. So there's two concepts you'll see inside of Attracktor. We have a DIY version, take the videos, consume it, it'll teach you exactly how to do it, or we have a done for you version. Here's our price, and we can do it for you. So you guys have the option to do either or, but consume the content, learn it. It's good. Now, I want to just go through and end with this, with the consistency part. When you start planning this stuff, quite often when you have it planned and you have a plan, it's not hard to carry it out. So let's say I decide to do 2 business interviews a month. Now I know each and every month on the 7th and the 21st that's happening. So we're talking about being consistent with our network, being consistent in our content. So the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of each month, that's what I'm publishing. Now let's say I wanted to step up my game and do a neighborhood video and do one a month. Great, the 1st Friday of each month, there's a neighborhood video. Oh, then holidays pop up. You could do some funny type stuff, more human type videos, and the holiday would pop up. Oh, I got 2 listings. There's no shortage of content for any of you guys, regardless of how new or long you've been in the business. It just takes you to actually put the pen to paper and actually just do it, take action. You don't need to do all of this. You just need to commit to one strategy that works for you. Whether it's the business owner interviews, whether it's you doing listings, whether it's you doing holidays, whatever it is, you'll decide what that is. But if you don't do it consistently, it's very, very tough. All right. You guys have any other questions on that? We're going to be doing the second half with very in-depth on the video side. Yes.
What is the fine line between, getting crazy, kooky, wacky, showing your personality, and then professionalism?
I don't think there is. We're seeing more and more just outrageous type videos. So there's the floss one, and then there's a guy who came out. There's about 3 agents who started doing these dancing ones. This other guy had about 700,000 views, and he was doing the Carlton dance. You guys know what that is? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So he was doing the Carlton dance, and it was hilarious. He jumps in the pool, and he's all crazy. So I don't think there's a limit. I think it's just a limit on what I could show you guys a bunch of really creative ones, if we have time. I don't think there's a limit. I think you just have to be you, and the more unconventional it is, the better it's going to do.
Like I guess those stickers. I'm going to sell the show to your car.
It's awesome.
If you're getting evasive or somebody. I mean, like you said, if somebody doesn't like you, you're probably succeeding.
Yeah,
at some point.
You're not.
Because some people will.
We have to get out of the mindset that we have to please everyone all the time. That's a good one. All right. You say lunch is coming in?
Yeah, it might be set up, so.
Do you guys want to go through some more examples? Does that help?
Sure.
While we wait for lunch?
I'm just trying to get this sound.
Can you do a listing one? Like you could.
And just, we switched from sandwiches to tacos. I don't know why we did that.
Did you? What are we going to say? A listing?
Can you do a listing video where somebody does their listing?
Yeah.
When you help people do their branding, do you have sort of a checklist, questionnaire? How do you,
Yeah.
like if I was to sit down and lay out my brand?
Yeah, so.
We have a program called Flip This Agent. Yeah, it's like a coaching program. We do a whole brand renovation, including build your website and all that. So I can show you how all that works. It just depends on like what budget is and what you want to do. Not everyone needs all of it. Some people need little bits and pieces of it. So it's hard to, I could do a call with you next week and you can tell me what you're looking at.
There's a cost, but yeah, I said to warn people because otherwise they go, absolutely, yeah. And
all right, so I want to go into YouTube and just show you guys a couple different things. Now I'm just going to search random. I'm going to search random things. So first thing I'm going to do is look at some of my old stats. Chicago real estate.
Why did you move?
Because my business partners are in California, and it was my only time to get out.
It's a lot warmer down there.
It's a lot warmer down there. There's a palm tree in my backyard.
Oh, don't tell her that.
So it's Chicago real estate, just on YouTube search. That's our video. Actually, that's the same one I just showed you. That's not even on my YouTube channel. It's on our video guys' YouTube channel.
They haven't sort of come off the big speakers now.
You got it big? There's me right there. It's an about video. That's a general term. Now, when I start getting hyper local, watch what'll happen. I'm gonna do let's do Wicker Park condos for sale. That's mine. That's mine. That top one's mine. It's one of my agents. This one's mine. There's the loft video. See, it's at 23,000 views. So there's another one of ours. That's another one of ours. So when we start optimizing this different content, we're playing the long game. Like I literally went to a listing presentation against an agent that does way more business than I do. And I'm like, yeah, well, we rank on everything for West Town condos for sale. So we got the listing because it adds to your credibility over time. You could do so many different searches. And as you optimize these different videos, you get them to all rank. It's a social proof thing. You don't know if the video is going to turn into a closing, but when you do it consistently, it turns into social proof.
Right, that's cool. And the food is here. You don't have to get it now, but just so you know. And Mike's got his private Chipotle in his office.
I already ate it.
You already ate that once or twice.
Let me show you Stengel Group. This guy's 65 years old. Might even be older than that. But what he's doing is he's been in real estate for 45 years. He's a Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry guy. So he's cold calls, he does cancels, expires. And it's just not working for him anymore. So he started doing videos. Now when we rebranded him, he's old and he's not online. You know, I always mess with him. We're good friends. But I had to make his branding cute and more approachable. That's why we use this cartoon with a house on it. And his whole branding thing is about silver platter experience. Now, his video strategy is about places that provide silver platter experiences, right? So he just started doing a local event. He did a blog video, but the one thing that we did with his brand is now he's holding a silver platter up, no matter what he does. Let me go to this one.
Selling your home, very, very stressful.
Turn down your computer. Turn down your computer.
Let me do the mute.
Yeah. You gotta get this to work without echoing. That's.
It's not,
Anyway, in there.
We'll use your computer. Just won't work.
I'm muted now.
Alright, oh. No, it's still won't work. Hold on a minute, do this real quick. So now it's yours that's picking it up.
I turn it off the mute. Maybe it's over here. Is that it? That's too close. Too close.
Are these on YouTube? Because I can just search on this computer.
Is it?
It'll be a lot easier.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
If you guys come back, I will do it now, but go ahead and just exit out of the meeting.
Can I shut my Zoom off?